My beloved child. There is a reason your heart brought you here today. Do not dismiss this moment as ordinary, because it carries a message that refuses to arrive by accident. Someone has reached a point where silence has become heavier than fear. They have stood at the edge of countless decisions, stepped back every single time, and convinced themselves that waiting was the safest choice. But something has changed. A quiet shift has taken place inside their heart. It happened so gently that even they could not recognize it at first. Yet now that feeling has become impossible to ignore. The walls they built are beginning to crack. The distance they once believed was permanent no longer feels impossible. They are beginning to understand that some opportunities never return once they are lost. This realization is stronger than doubt. Stronger than hesitation. Stronger than the stories they kept telling themselves. That is why an unexpected movement is preparing itself behind the scenes. You cannot see it yet. You cannot hear it yet. But every passing day is pulling that hidden decision closer to the surface. The most surprising part is not that they still think about you. The surprise is that they are becoming willing to risk what they once protected the most, simply because the thought of losing you forever has become far more frightening than taking one bold step. Listen carefully because the next truth explains everything that has confused you. There were moments when you believed they had forgotten you. Their silence looked cold. Their distance looked intentional. Their actions created questions with no answers. But appearances often hide battles that words cannot explain. Every unanswered thought became another weight upon their heart. Every memory returned when they least expected it. Every familiar place reminded them of something unfinished. They tried replacing those memories with distractions, but nothing stayed long enough to erase what they truly felt. The more they attempted to move forward, the more life quietly redirected their attention back toward you. They began noticing small reminders everywhere. Familiar songs. Unexpected conversations. Coincidences that felt too precise to ignore. None of these moments forced a decision. They simply awakened emotions that had never disappeared. And now they are standing before a choice that could reshape everything. Continue hiding behind fear. Or finally accept the risk that love sometimes demands. They know that stepping forward could change their entire future. They also know that remaining silent could become the greatest regret they ever carry. That silent realization is growing stronger every single day. It is becoming impossible for them to escape. Something even deeper is unfolding beneath everything you can currently understand. Their heart has started asking questions that logic cannot answer. What if this chance never comes again? What if the distance only grows larger? What if the opportunity disappears forever? These questions have become louder than every excuse they once believed. This is why their confidence is beginning to return in unexpected ways. They are replaying conversations. Remembering promises. Revisiting moments that seemed ordinary at the time but now feel priceless. They are discovering that genuine feelings do not disappear simply because time has passed. In fact, some emotions become clearer after seasons of silence. That realization has startled them more than anyone else. They never expected their heart to remain this loyal. They never expected your memory to become stronger instead of weaker. They never imagined that your absence would reveal your value with such powerful clarity. And now another unexpected realization is quietly approaching them. They are beginning to believe that protecting themselves may have cost them something far greater than any risk they were trying to avoid. That single thought has become impossible to silence. It follows them into quiet mornings. It stays beside them through busy afternoons. It remains with them during sleepless nights. Every hour adds another layer of certainty. Now another piece of the hidden picture begins to appear. There are moments arriving very soon that will seem ordinary on the outside but will carry extraordinary meaning beneath the surface. One conversation. One unexpected memory. One simple encounter. One message. One decision. None of these events will look dramatic at first. Yet together they create the turning point that changes everything. This is why patience matters more than panic. Not every transformation announces itself with loud signs. Some of the greatest changes begin with quiet courage inside one human heart. The person connected to these feelings is slowly becoming someone different from who they were before. Fear no longer controls every choice. Doubt no longer speaks with the loudest voice. Hope has started growing where uncertainty once lived. And when hope becomes stronger than fear, people begin doing things they once believed were impossible. That is the hidden surprise preparing itself right now. It is not built upon coincidence. It is built upon a heart finally becoming honest with itself. When honesty arrives, hesitation begins losing its power. When hesitation weakens, impossible journeys suddenly become possible. Before this moment passes, remember one final truth. Not every risk is taken because someone feels fearless. The greatest risks are often taken by those who are still afraid but decide that something precious deserves courage anyway. Someone is moving closer to that decision than you realize. Every heartbeat is bringing them nearer. Every lesson they have lived is pointing them toward one unavoidable conclusion. They may be ready to risk comfort. They may be ready to leave behind uncertainty. They may be ready to step beyond every excuse that once kept them standing still. Because their feelings have reached a place where remaining silent no longer feels like safety. It feels like loss. And that realization changes everything. Yet the most astonishing revelation has still not appeared. There is one hidden detail that neither you nor they fully understand today. When it finally comes into the light, every unanswered question from the past will suddenly connect like pieces of a forgotten story. And when that happens, nothing will ever look the same again. A remarkable truth is beginning to reveal itself, and it is far greater than anything you have imagined until now. The heart connected to yours is no longer searching for excuses to stay away. Instead, it is searching for reasons to come closer. That difference changes everything. For a very long time, they believed that waiting would somehow make their feelings disappear. They thought time would erase the emotions they could not explain. But time has done the exact opposite. Every passing day has quietly strengthened what they once believed would fade. They now realize that every attempt to ignore these emotions has only made them more real. This realization has surprised them more than anyone else. They wake up carrying questions they cannot answer. They go through ordinary moments, yet something constantly reminds them that an unfinished chapter still exists. They are beginning to understand that some people enter your life for a reason that cannot be measured by logic alone. You have become that reason. Even though they have remained silent, their heart has continued writing a story that words were never brave enough to tell. That story is now approaching a moment where silence can no longer protect it. Something must change. Something will move. Something unexpected is getting closer with every passing moment. An invisible turning point has already begun, even if nobody around you can recognize it yet. Imagine standing before two different paths. One path offers comfort because nothing changes. The other path demands courage because everything could change. For the longest time, they kept choosing the first path. It felt safe. It felt predictable. It asked nothing from them except patience. But safety has slowly become emptiness. Predictability has become regret. They are beginning to see that avoiding risk also means avoiding possibility. That thought keeps returning to them like an echo that refuses to disappear. Every memory connected with you has become stronger than their fear of disappointment. Every moment they once ignored now feels meaningful. They replay conversations that seemed ordinary. They remember expressions that once appeared simple. They notice details that never mattered before. Those small memories have become powerful reminders that some connections cannot be replaced. The most astonishing part is this. They no longer want to spend their future wondering what could have happened. That question has become too heavy to carry. Instead, they are quietly preparing themselves for a decision that once felt impossible. A decision that could surprise everyone who believed nothing would ever change. There is another secret unfolding beneath the surface, and it explains why everything suddenly feels different. While they were trying to hide their feelings, they unknowingly started changing as a person. Their priorities shifted. Their understanding of life became deeper. They discovered that genuine connections are incredibly rare. They realized that finding someone who continues living inside your thoughts despite distance and silence is not something that happens every day. This understanding has transformed their perspective completely. What once looked like a risk now looks like an opportunity. What once appeared impossible now feels achievable. What once frightened them now inspires them. That transformation did not happen overnight. It was built through countless quiet moments when nobody else was watching. Every lesson they experienced added another piece to the puzzle. Every disappointment taught them what truly matters. Every victory reminded them that meaningful things often require courage. Now they stand before the biggest emotional decision they have faced in a very long time. They know one choice allows life to continue exactly as it is. The other choice could completely rewrite their future. And for the first time, they are seriously considering choosing the path that once terrified them. Pay close attention because another surprising revelation is approaching. There is a moment ahead that will appear completely ordinary to everyone else. People around you may overlook it without giving it a second thought. Yet for this person, that single moment will feel unforgettable. It could begin with something incredibly simple. A familiar memory returning without warning. A name appearing unexpectedly. A conversation that reminds them of everything they tried to bury. or a quiet realization that arrives during an ordinary day. Whatever form it takes, it will become the final piece they have been missing. Suddenly, every unanswered question will begin making sense. Every hesitation will lose a little more strength. Every excuse will sound weaker than before. Their confidence will continue growing because they finally understand that waiting forever guarantees nothing except more unanswered questions. They are beginning to believe that sincere feelings deserve sincere actions. That belief is becoming impossible to ignore. Once it fully settles inside their heart, there will be no returning to the person they used to be. They will see life differently. They will see you differently. Most importantly, they will see themselves differently. The greatest surprise has still not fully arrived. Everything you have heard until now has only been preparing the foundation for what comes next. Someone who once convinced themselves that remaining silent was the safest decision is gradually becoming someone who believes honesty is worth every uncertainty. That transformation is extraordinary because it cannot be forced. It happens only when emotions become stronger than fear. They are reaching that exact point now. Every day brings them one step closer to accepting that some opportunities are too valuable to lose forever. They may soon discover that courage is not the absence of uncertainty. Courage is choosing hope even when the outcome remains unknown. That realization has already begun changing their future. But one final discovery is still waiting just beyond the horizon. When that hidden truth finally reveals itself, both your path and theirs will begin connecting in a way that neither of you expected. And when that unexpected moment finally arrives, every mystery from the beginning of this story will suddenly feel as though it had been leading toward this one unforgettable turning point all along. Everything has been leading to this moment, yet the biggest change is still quietly approaching. There is something this person has never admitted, not even to themselves. They believed they were protecting their heart, but deep inside they were protecting their fear. Those are not the same thing. A protected heart still hopes. A protected fear only delays happiness. They have finally begun to recognize the difference. That realization arrived slowly, through countless quiet nights and ordinary mornings, until one undeniable truth stood before them. They are no longer afraid of what they feel. They are afraid of never expressing it. That single shift has changed the direction of every thought they carry. They have started imagining what life could become instead of only remembering what life used to be. They are no longer focused on everything that could go wrong. Instead, they are wondering what beautiful possibilities could finally become real if they choose courage over hesitation. That question has become impossible for them to ignore. It follows them wherever they go. It returns when they least expect it. It grows stronger every single day. Something extraordinary is happening behind the scenes that nobody else can recognize. Every experience they have recently faced has quietly prepared them for one important realization. Every disappointment taught them patience. Every unanswered question taught them clarity. Every delay taught them the value of timing. They once believed that waiting meant losing. Now they understand that waiting was preparing them to make a better decision. That understanding has filled them with a confidence they never possessed before. They are beginning to believe that some connections survive distance because they were never built upon convenience. They were built upon something much deeper. Every memory connected with you continues returning because it carries meaning that time could never erase. This realization has become their greatest surprise. They expected memories to fade. Instead, those memories became brighter. They expected emotions to weaken. Instead, those emotions became stronger. They expected life to move on without looking back. Instead, life kept gently leading their heart toward the same destination again and again. Now they are finally asking themselves whether those repeated moments have been trying to teach them something all along. A powerful decision is growing inside them, even though the outside world has not noticed it yet. There will come a moment when they stop searching for the perfect time. They will stop waiting for every uncertainty to disappear. They will realize that perfect moments rarely announce themselves. Meaningful moments are created by brave choices. That understanding changes everything. The risk they once feared no longer looks impossible. It looks necessary. They know that remaining silent would only leave another chapter unfinished. They know that opportunities are precious because they never promised to wait forever. This realization has awakened a determination that surprises even them. They have begun planning instead of hesitating. They have begun believing instead of doubting. They have begun moving forward instead of standing still. Every quiet step they take is carrying them closer to a future they once believed belonged only to dreams. Yet there is still one hidden piece they have not discovered. When they finally uncover it, every reason for delaying will disappear completely. That final discovery is closer than either of you realizes. Now another layer of this remarkable story begins to unfold. You may have wondered why certain moments in your own life felt strangely connected to memories you could not explain. You may have sensed that something important was approaching without understanding why. Those feelings were not without purpose. Sometimes life prepares two hearts separately before allowing their paths to cross again in a more meaningful way. Growth often happens in silence. Strength often develops in waiting. Wisdom often appears after seasons of uncertainty. This person has been walking through that exact process. They are not the same individual they were when fear controlled every decision. They have become more patient, more honest, more willing to accept vulnerability. Most importantly, they have learned that genuine feelings are not weaknesses. They are reminders of what truly matters. That lesson has transformed the way they see everything around them. And once someone begins seeing life through truth instead of fear, their actions naturally begin changing as well. Those changes are already beginning, even if nobody else has recognized them yet. The final revelation of this chapter carries a quiet power that cannot be ignored. Very soon, this person will stand before a choice that cannot be postponed any longer. The moment they have been avoiding will arrive with unexpected simplicity. It will not demand perfection. It will only ask for honesty. In that single moment, they will understand that the greatest risk was never opening their heart. The greatest risk was allowing fear to decide their future. Once that understanding settles completely within them, everything they once believed impossible will suddenly feel within reach. But there is still one astonishing detail waiting beyond this point. A hidden connection, an unexpected sign, and a remarkable realization are preparing to appear together. When those three pieces finally come together, the entire story will take a direction that neither you nor they could have predicted. And that unforgettable moment is closer now than it has ever been before.